Hello, my name is Rasmus Posett, and I am here on behalf of the Swedish Child Protective Services to discuss what I see as problems you have here in Britain when it just comes to how you discipline your children, or how many here still discipline their children. I'm of course talking about physical discipline of the children, and today I'm gonna try to explain to you why it's bad for not just the child but for you as well. To do this, obviously gonna talk about what is the side effects of disciplining your children physically, but also what you can do instead as a way to better yourself. The first thing you need to know about raising a child is that hitting is always gonna model hitting, especially in children. It can be when friends hits too, you will start to hit, but it is most apparent in children is because children will always look up to you. You are the star of their life right now. So if you hit them, they will get the understanding that they can hit others as well, and hitting is a way to solve most problems, which is bad because this doesn't only apply in the childhood, so it doesn't only bring up bullies but maybe even abusive fathers or mothers or abusive husbands or wives. Another thing is that hitting will devalue the child, especially its self-image, because the self-image you have usually begins when you're a child, and how others perceive you. And if you think that others perceive you as bad because they're hitting you gotta be bad, then your self-image will be lowered, and you will have all kinds of you can get all kinds of psychological problems in the future. Even in loving homes, spanking gives a confusing message. Even more so if the child is young and can't really understand why he's getting it. And even if you think hugs does not help, it doesn't help that you hug him after you have spanked him, because the spank he will feel the sting of it long after a hug. And most children put in this kind of situation will use the hug as the kind of defense mechanism, like, if I hug my father now, he will stop hitting me. And the only message to clearly get through if you're physically disciplining your children is you're weak and worthless, which is not what you want to tell your child. Another thing is that hitting will devalue the parent as well. Your child will most likely find the punishment unfair, and don't understand why you punish him or her in this kind of way. And this will lead to that most children will rebel against you. They will start to try to do things you don't like, just because to show them that they can't really control you in that way. And they themselves, they're feeling controlled. Think of it as living in a diplomatically controlled country or a dictatorship. In a diplomatically controlled country, you feel safe around the police. The police are there to help you. There are laws that are within boundaries, so they can help you. You feel safe. You have politicalness. You can feel that you can impact on what happens. But in dictatorship, you can't do anything. You feel scared. The police are not there to help you. The police are usually just there to enforce some new law that the dictator have come up with. And wouldn't this stir rebel in you? It's the same thing. The child feel like you are the dictator if you punish him in this kind of way. And Lastly here, hitting does not actually improve behavior. A child who feels like it feels wrong is most likely gonna act so as well. And by wrong, I mean he feels like, firstly, he feels like he doesn't deserve the punishment he's getting. He doesn't understand why he's getting the punishment. He just understands that he's getting the punishment, and it's nothing wrong, and that he's done something wrong. He doesn't know why, so he can't improve on it. But he understands that if something is wrong, you should be punished for it with force. And this usually leads to him feeling sad, and therefore inflicts the sadness on others through bullying or abuse later on in life. Now, a child who has got parents who doesn't physically abusing is more likely gonna feel right and gonna act so as well. So, what can you do to improve your behavior, or what can you do instead of the physical punishment? I gotta admit, I'm not an expert at raising children, but I have been one, like everyone else, and I will bring up the methods that both my father and mother used on me, and I've seen my uncle and aunts use on their children. The first thing you can do is try to talk to the child about the problem. Do not yell at him, because this will just create other psychological problems. But try to explain what he did wrong. You can do this in many different ways, but a way that personally worked on me when I was a child was when my parents put me in the situation myself and said things like, "Would you like to have sand put in your boxers?" The child usually didn't mean anything bad by doing even the dumbest of things or meanest of things. They usually didn't mean anything mean by it, so to say. They are usually a part of the game or the play. But if you put them into the situation, you will usually understand. Another thing you can do to prevent situation from happening is talking with your partner, or bringing up things you find bad close to him, like with friends, with your partner, with someone, because he will understand that, okay, these things are bad, and because children look up to their parents, obviously you are the star of the world right now. They will look up to you. They will do as you do. They want to be you. So if you do well, if you do as you're supposed to do, the child will do so as well. The last thing is always be at your best behaviors, at least when the child is young, because they will always do as you do. You are the one they are looking to when they need something solved. You are the one that makes them feel safe. You are the one they look to for inspiration. You are the world. So, even if you have the most shittiest day in the world, even if you got fired from your job, just take a smile and show your child how to react, and you will bring up a child who will one day become a wonderful father and a wonderful part of society. Before I leave you, I will refresh on what this speech has been about. The more physical punishment a child receives, the more aggressive he or she will become. The more children are spanked, the more likely they will abuse towards their own children. Spanking plants seeds for later violent behavior. And to conclude this, speech, I would say this. Why is it okay to hit someone that is smaller than you, but it's against the law to hit someone your own size? Thank you very much. This has been Rasmus, and goodbye.